direct the necessary classes of the Bhakti, and guided the necessary to the spiritual. All the troubles up to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving services unto the personality of Godhead, who privately the grasping the sound. I was born in darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the Lord in the house. After my respectful obedience unto
Okay, so today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, verse 39 to 47.
Internet is pretty slow today. It's getting weird.
Okay, there we can start from Prabhu. Yes. Oh. Okay, you go.
One's riches, beautiful wife and female friends, one's sons and daughters, one's residence, one's domestic animals like cows, elephants, and horses, one's treasury, economic development, and sense gratification. Indeed, even the lifetime in which one can enjoy all these material opulences are certainly temporary and flickering. Since the opportunity of human life is temporary, what benefit can these material opulences give to a sensible man who has understood himself to be eternal?
Text 40. It is learned from Vedic literature that by performing great sacrifices, one may elevate himself to the heavenly planets. However, although life on the heavenly planets is hundreds and thousands of times more comfortable than life on earth, the heavenly planets are not pure, nirmala, but free from the taint of material existence. The heavenly planets are also temporary, and therefore they are not the goal of life. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, I can't see ahead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, has never been seen or heard to possess iniquity. Consequently, for your own benefit and self-realization, you must worship the Lord with great devotion, as described in the Indian scriptures.
Text 41. A materialistic person thinking himself very advanced in intelligence continually acts for economic development. But again and again, as initiated in the Vedas, he is frustrated by material activities either in this life or in the next. Indeed, the results of one obtains are inevitably the opposite of those of the other.
In this material world, every materialist desires to achieve happiness and diminishes distress, and therefore he acts accordingly. Actually, however, one is happy as long as one does not endeavor for happiness. As soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his conditions of distress begin.
A living entity desires comfort for his body and makes many plans for this purpose, but actually the body is the property of others. Indeed, the perishable body embraces the living entity and then leaves him aside.
Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool or earth, what is the meaning of the paraphernalia related to the body, such as wives, residence, wealth, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministries? They are also temporary. What more can be said about this?
All this paraphernalia is very near and dear as long as the body exists. But as soon as the body is destroyed, all these things related to the body are also finished. Therefore, actually, one has nothing to do with them, but because of ignorance, one accepts them as valuable. Compared to the ocean of eternal happiness, they are most insignificant. What is the use of such insignificant relationships for the eternal living being?
My dear friends, O sons of the Asuras, the living entity receives different types of bodies according to his previous period of activities. Thus he is seen to suffer with reference to his particular body in all conditions of life, beginning with his infusion into the womb. Please tell me, therefore, after full consideration, what is the living entity's actual interest in fruitive activities which result in hardship and misery?
The living entity who has received his present body because of his past fruitive activity may end the results of his action in this life. But this does not mean that he is liberated from bondage to material bodies. The living entity receives one type of body and by performing actions with that body, he creates another. Thus, he transmigrates from one body to another through repeated birth and death because of his gross ignorance.
The four principles often
Yeah, I think that is it. 47. Sorry, Prabhu. You'll get a chance. So, little bit summary about what's going on. Prahlad Maharaj is sent to school, and his teachers, Shand and Amarka, they are trying to teach him all the material things like economics and warfare and everything. But Prahlad Maharaj is learning something else when Hiranyakashipu is asking him questions. He's asking him to go to forest. So he's certainly not catching what this Shand and Amarka are teaching him. So after that, again, not only that, Prahlad Maharaj is also preaching to his friends. He's also, what he has learned, he's also teaching to his friends about devotional service, about bhakti, about the purpose of life. He's actually asking them to question the norms that are set by the society, that you have to, get married, and then there are set norms, right? You have to get the education, and then after that, at certain age, you have to get married, and then kids, and then die. So Prahlad Maharaj is asking them to question everything, and he's making them realize that what is the importance, like what importance this body and everything related to this body holds. And that is where we are going to focus on. We are going to focus on text 42 today and see what Prahlad Maharaj has to say. It's open. Shukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmina sadapnoti haya dukkhaham anihaya sukha vrittaha sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmina sadapnoti haya dukkhaham anihaya sukha vritaha.
Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya
Sankalpa iha karmina sadapnoti haya dukkam anihaya
sukha vritaha. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmina sadapnoti haya dukkham anihaya sukha vritaha. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmina
sadapnoti haya dukkam
sadapnoti haya dukkham anihaya sukha vrita. Word to word all together. Sukhaya, for achieving happiness by a so-called higher standard of life. Dukkha mokshaya, for becoming free from miseries. Sankalpa, the determination. Iha, in this world. karmina, of living entities trying for economic development, sada, always, apnoti, achieves, ihaya, by activity or ambition, dukkham, only happiness, anihaya, and from not desiring economic development, sukha, by happiness, avrita, covered. Translation altogether. In this material world, every materialist desired to achieve happiness and diminish his distress, and therefore he acts accordingly. Actually, however, one is happy as long as one does not desire for happiness. As soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his condition of distress begins. So, Prabhu, purport.
Every conditioned soul is bound by the laws of material nature, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Prakritaha karmayani gunaha karmani
Sarvasa.
Everyone has achieved a certain type of body given by material nature, according to the instructions of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Everyone together. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridadeshe arjuna tishtati brahmanyam sarva bhutani yantra rudani mayaya.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wonders of all living entities, who are seated on a machine made by material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, is present in everyone's heart, and as the living entity desires, the Lords give him the facilities with which to work according to his ambitions in different grades of bodies.
Yes. Venkatesh Prabhu.
The body is just like an instrument by which the living entities moves according to false desire for happiness, and thus suffers the pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease in different standards of life. Everyone begins his activities with some plan and ambition, but actually, from the beginning of one's plan to the end, one does not derive any happiness. On the contrary, as soon as one begins acting according to his plan, his life of distress immediately begins. Therefore, one should not be ambitious to dissipate the unhappy conditions of life, for one cannot do anything about them. Ahankara vimudatma kartam iti manyate. Although one is acting according to false ambitions, he thinks he can improve his material condition by his activities. The Vedas enjoin that one should not try to increase happiness or decrease distress, for this is futile. Tashaiva peto prayeteta kovidam. One should work for self-realization, not for economic development, which is impossible to improve. Without endeavor, one can get the amount of happiness and distress for which he is destined, and one cannot change this. Therefore, it is better to use one's time for advancement in the spiritual life of Krishna consciousness. One should not waste his valuable time as human life as a human being. It is better to utilize the life for the developing Krishna consciousness without ambitions for so-called happiness.
Jai. So, I would like to begin with a question. Why are we all here today?
To serve Krishna.
Okay. Yes, to serve Krishna. Yes. What else?
To purify ourselves.
To purify ourselves. Yes.
Seek happiness.
To?
Seek happiness.
Sorry, I couldn't.
To seek happiness.
Seek happiness. Okay, that's a very nice question. Answer. Seek happiness. Yes. Anyone else?
To distinguish reality from illusion.
Okay, distinguish reality from illusion. Yes.
See our desires.
To learn from the examples in Srimad Bhagavatam how to apply it into our lives.
Okay, yes. To learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. True.
Which one?
Okay, only one answer per person.
To get the mood to love Krishna.
to get the mood to love Krishna. Okay.
Oh, I have one more.
Only one per person. Yes, anyone else?
Desire to achieve happiness in amidst distress.
Desire to achieve happiness amidst distress. Very nice answer. Yes, Prabhu.
To enjoy material happiness.
To enjoy material happiness?
That's what we are here.
I mean, in this, I'm asking about this class.
Oh.
Yes. You are going opposite to my class actually. But yeah, we are here. If we see the deep desire why we are here, Prabhu said we are here for seeking happiness. Actually, we are all here seeking happiness. If you see why do you want to learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Why you want to distinguish reality from illusion? Why you want to love Krishna? Yes, Prabhu.
So in the proper way as we should to serve Krishna.
Sorry?
Like we should live the proper way to serve Krishna.
Yes, true. Yes, my question was why are we all here for? So the answer is that we are all here for seeking happiness. We all want to be happy. So the only reason why we are all here for, like we have different reasons, but the deeper want is that we all want to be happy, and that's why we are all here for. So my another question is what is happiness? Krishna, okay. How do you define happiness? What is, okay, for you happiness is Krishna, okay.
Anything that doesn't cause me distress, I consider happiness.
Okay, so other than, interesting answer, yes. Anything that is not causing you distress is happiness, okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Contentment from within.
Yes, that is also right. Contentment from within. Anyone else?
Peace.
Peace. Okay. Every one of you is right. In Oxford, the dictionary says that a sense of well-being, joy and contentment. That is the definition of happiness. So yes, that is what everyone in this world is seeking for, happiness. So in Bhagavad Gita, there are different types of happiness. Probably if you would like to pull 18.36. Krishna talks in the last chapter, there are 3 types of happiness in relation with the modes of material nature. So we'll 36. Translation.
Sorry.
It's okay, Prabhu. Can one of you read the translation?
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the 3 kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Okay, translation again.
That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end it's just like nectar, and which awakens ones to self-realization is said to be happiness in mode of goodness.
So yes, happiness in mode of goodness. Sometimes we have to go, like we have to perform some austerities, or waking up early in the morning. Not like we don't like it. We don't like to do that. But it's like a poison in beginning. But if you see the long-term benefit that we are getting from it, it's like nectar. So goodness, happiness and goodness is like poison in the beginning, but nectar at the end. We'll go with the passion. Next, yes. Someone else?
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, the poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion.
Okay, this kind of happiness we see everywhere around. Like, it's like instant happiness, you know? You scroll reels, you get some happiness. And then you taste something good, you get some happiness. And you see something good, you get some happiness. So that's like happiness that is derived from sense perception. Like all the senses, whatever happiness we get from performing activities with our senses, that is called happiness in mode of passion. So that is, yes. Next. Someone else?
And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
Yes, so that is happiness in ignorance too. Like people like to sleep. So people get some kind of happiness from it, right? So that's why they like to sleep. There's some happiness in laziness. So that is why people like to be lazy, you know, just lie down, do nothing. So there's some kind of happiness. That is happiness in ignorance. But that is like poison in the beginning and poison in the end. Why? Because by the time you are sleeping, it's wasting your time. And by being lazy also, it's wasting your time and it's not going to be helpful in future also. So it's like poison in the beginning and poison at the end. We have another definition of happiness in 11.25.29. Prabhu, if you like to pull it. By that time, I'll ask a question. What do you do to become happy?
11.25.29.
Yes. 11. Yes, my question is, what do you do to become happy? What are some activities that you do to become happy? Yes.
I just walk down around the street with bhajans going on.
Okay, you listen to bhajans?
Yeah.
Yes.
You make Krishna happy, you become happy, so any of the Krishna service practices makes you happy.
Okay, but what do you do practically?
I listen to lectures.
You listen to lectures, that makes you happy. So you listen to Krishna Gatha, okay?
I do my duty with honesty. That brings me happiness.
Yes, you perform your duty with honesty. That brings you happiness, yes.
I like to go on walks.
Mm-hmm. You like to go on walks, okay? So here also it's talking about what happiness in relation with mode of three modes of material nature. Happiness derived from the self is in the mode of goodness. Happiness based on sense gratification is in the mode of passion. And happiness based on delusion and degradation is in the mode of ignorance. But happiness found within me is transcendental. This is actually Krishna speaking Uddhava Gita to Uddhav. So Krishna is telling that happiness that is found in self, that you do not need anything from outside. That is happiness in goodness. If you need things or someone to be happy, that is happiness in mode of passion. And happiness that is in delusion and it causes degradation, that is happiness in mode of ignorance. So, but here Krishna gives the answer also, that what kind of happiness we should strive for. So there are actually, happiness can be divided into two further. material happiness and spiritual happiness. So if we talk about material happiness is, it is said to be like chewing the chewed. Why Prabhupada again and again he's mentioning this word, chewing the chewed? Why is that? Like any? Yes.
There is no more joy.
There is no more joy. Yes. What else? Why is he using this particular phrase?
Who chewed it?
Who chewed it? Yes. Who chewed it? Yeah, we'll get to that. Who chewed it?
We've already experienced it in different species.
Yes, you chewed it. So yes, actually we have experienced that happiness either in this life or past lives. But we are again doing the same activities, again going on with the same kind of seeking pleasure from the same activities by doing the same thing. That's why it is called chewing the chewed.
We did one mistake. We just wanted to enjoy once without Krishna. And then back to back 84 billion lives. It just
Going on and on and on, right? Yes.
there's no end to that.
No, there is an end to that. Don't worry, Prabhu. We have a solution.
No problem.
He's presently the solution.
Yes, you are right. We only did one mistake that we wanted to enjoy. But there is a solution, and Krishna is merciful. He is giving us not one but a lot of solutions by which we can actually end this cycle and go back to Him. So we'll talk about that also. Yes, so we were talking about material happiness. Material happiness is like chewing the chewed. There are a few reasons why Prabhupada uses this phrase, chewing the chewed, because we are doing the same activities again and again, and after some time we are not getting happiness or pleasure from that, but still we keep on doing that in hope that okay, I will get something from it. Prabhupada gives another example also, that if you have seen how they get the sugarcane juice, by putting the sugarcane in the machine and crushing it. If you see at first when they put, there's some juice that comes out, right? And again he squeezes it, puts again, then some of it comes out. After a point, there's nothing coming out of it, right? He's trying, but there's nothing coming out of it. So that is same with material happiness. After a point, you will keep on trying, but you will not get the pleasure. So any level of sense gratification, any level of opulence like wealth, any level of fame cannot make you content, cannot satisfy you, because that is the nature of material happiness. It is the soul will not be satisfied with this kind of happiness. So my question is, what kind of happiness should we endeavor for?
Which is permanent.
Yes, which is permanent.
Satisfies the Krishna within our heart.
Satisfy Krishna. Krishna is already satisfied actually.
No, within our heart. Sometimes we try to satisfy our senses for the sake of happiness. So temporarily we end up regretting doing those things. When we do something like serving devotees or serving, using senses in Krishna's service, that kind of that brings us internal happiness. That's kind of happiness for us.
Yes, actually that satisfies our soul, and that is satisfying ourselves. We are soul actually, so it is satisfying ourselves. Yes, Krishna. Actually, we'll get back to that point. Why do we seek happiness actually? Why?
That's the nature of the soul, and you cannot go against your nature.
Yes, true that. That is the nature of the soul. So my question was, what kind of happiness should we endeavor for, right? So someone told not that which is not temporary, and it is said in Bhagavad Gita that we should endeavor for happiness that is eternal and ever increasing. Yes. So we should seek for happiness that is spiritual. That is spiritual happiness. And why are we seeking happiness? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is Sachidanand Vigraha, right? It's said in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So he is made up of three things: Sat, Chit, and Anand. He is eternal, he is blissful, and he is full of knowledge, right? So that is the nature of Krishna, and as we are part and parcel of Krishna, that is also our nature. We are also made up of these three elements, but because right now we are covered by this material body, we are identifying ourselves with this material body, and that's why we suffer this happiness and distress. Like, so we are actually not meant to be in distress. That is not our nature. Our nature is to be blissful. Our nature is to have full knowledge and be in full bliss. So if someone is taking doing something against their nature, it will cause them some distress, and they will not be satisfied with that. So that's why we actually seek happiness, and that's why we are not satisfied with the material happiness. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the previous verse, we are discussing 7.7.42. In 7.7.41, it is said that a materialistic person thinking himself very advanced in intelligence continually acts for economic development, but again and again, as enunciated in Vedas, is frustrated by material activities, either in this life or in the next. So this we can see practically, that man makes plan, right? They make plan to be happy, and they will think that, okay, maybe after my plan is completed, or after I do this, I will become happy. But after doing that, he is not happy, and then again he thinks that, okay, maybe I'll do this and then I'll become happy. Again he is not happy. So his efforts are going on, and by such efforts he is actually frustrated, but there is no happiness, because you cannot get happiness, the happiness that you are seeking in this world. This material world is not meant for us to be happy. So yeah, that's why. And it is said that no level of sense gratification or economic development can satisfy the soul, because there is a nature. What is the nature of the soul? Okay, there's a question. What is the nature of our soul? Yes, okay. And what is its eternal dharma? Okay. To be serving Krishna. So if we see, if we focus on this word dharma means the nature, like the dharma of water is to flow, right? The dharma of salt is to taste salty. The dharma of sugar is to taste sweet. If it's not tasting sweet, it's not sugar. So our eternal dharma, or our eternal religion, is to serve Krishna. And if we are not fixed in that position, we will not be happy. Anything other than serving Krishna will not make us happy, because that is not our nature. And if we are doing anything against that, we will not be happy. So it is said that no level of sense gratification or economic development can satisfy the soul. But you can get some temporary happiness. And that is what the whole world is running on. They are getting some temporary happiness, and everyone is running for that. They think that this is all in all. They don't know that we also can be eternally happy. We don't need to suffer. People have accepted that, okay, this is the way of life. Happiness and distress, they will come, and distress is a part of life. But we as spiritualists, we know that distress is not a part of life. We are not meant to be distressed. So if we take an example, of how material happiness is. Uh, if you see a person, like you might have seen in the movies, I don't know, I don't think so any one of you have seen that in real. They take a person's head and dip it in the water, let him suffer for some time and then take him out. So the relief that he is getting when he's taken out, that is compared to material happiness. Okay, I'll take another example. If someone is beaten up, someone is getting beaten constantly, and then he's given a pause of maybe 5-10 seconds, and the relief that he's getting by not getting beaten up is called, that is what is compared to material happiness. And that is what is happening with us also here. Like there is distress, right? And in that constant distress, we get some relief in between, and we are considering that as happiness. Actually, someone also gave that answer that the absence of distress is happiness. No, actually that is not happiness. Happiness is different. Absence of distress cannot be happiness. So we should endeavor for spiritual happiness, that is for sure, right? And Prabhupada talks in Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, 18th Shloka, about material happiness. He says that as far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it is automatically derived in due course of time, just as in due course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. This is a very important statement that we can focus on. See, we do not desire for miseries. We do not work for miseries, right? We do not wish that miseries will come in our life. But anyways, they will come. They are coming, right? So the same goes with happiness. Happiness, but material happiness. The material happiness which is meant to come will come in your life, even if you don't desire it. So we should not run for material happiness. We should not run for material happiness. That is the point here. That anyways it is going to come. Why should we over endeavor and waste our valuable life for that? So Prabhupada is saying that, yes, you have a question, Prabhu?
No, actually, there are three things which are permanent that we cannot change. Aishwarya, Roop, one more thing I'm trying to remember. Okay, there
Yes, actually there is an example, there is a very beautiful example given by a devotee. I was listening to a class, and the example is, if you have this glass is given to you when you are born in a particular body. Now, there is an ocean of water, right? There's a whole big ocean of water. But how much can you carry? The size of the glass that you have. So the size of a glass is already determined. Whatever material opulences, whatever material achievements that you are going to get, it is already determined. So by over endeavoring, you are only dipping this glass again and again, but you will only fill the amount that is already given to you, right? You will not be able to get more than the amount of the glass. So that is compared with that is compared to the material pleasures or material achievements or material gains that we are going to get in this life. That is already determined in the beginning of our life. So we are seeking for something more than that, and that is redeveloping or repairing our broken relationship with Krishna. Because by doing that only, we can be eternally happy. We can get the happiness that we actually are longing for, that we actually seek. And Krishna is compared to fire, right? Krishna is compared to fire, and we as living entities, we are compared to the sparks in that fire. If the spark is away from the fire, it will be extinguished. But when the spark is in the fire, it will be lit up, right? So that is how we will be happy. If we are with Krishna, we will be happy. If we are away from Krishna, we will not be happy, because we cannot be happy individually. We cannot be happy independent of Krishna. Yes.
Prabhupada gave an example with regards to the same point in Sri Upanishad. Like Krishna is complete, and everything, every part and parcel of Krishna is complete too, including living entities. So we are complete, but like in our body, eyes are a different unit, hands are a different unit, and they are complete in themselves. They are complete as long as the hands are complete, as long as they are attached to the body.
Yes, true.
They are separate from the body, they are useless. The same way, as long as we are living entity connected to Krishna, then there's use of this life, else we are useless.
Yes, very, very true. If you cut this hand, it will be useless. There is no use of this hand. But right now, because it is attached to this body, I can do a lot of things with this hand, right? We can make it useful. But same goes with us, that if we are connected to Krishna, we will be happy. But if we are separate from Krishna, and then we try and enjoy, try and do our things, but we will not be happy, because we are not we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are not made to enjoy separately. So we won't be able to enjoy separately. And if we see that even if you get all the riches, all the opulence in this life, and people will say that, okay, I'm happy with what I have, I'm satisfied. We also hear that people say, oh, I'm satisfied, I don't want anything else in my life. I have a good family, I have money, I have house, I have this, I have that. But then the question arises, how long will that last? Will it last forever? How long can you enjoy that? And even if okay, by somehow or other you are able to maintain that opulence and that wealth, will you be able to enjoy? Like it was said in one of the translations that the very life that we have to enjoy this material opulence is also temporary. So Prahlad Maharaj is emphasizing on this point that this human life is not meant for enjoying material happiness. And he actually concludes it by saying in this very purport that one should not waste his valuable life as human being. It is better to utilize this life for developing Krishna consciousness without ambition for so-called happiness. So this so-called happiness, it's the material happiness. And he is saying that we should not endeavor for this so-called happiness and actually develop Krishna consciousness to be eternally happy. And I'd like to quote something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhu, if you can pull up Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 20.52. This actually Mahaprabhu is saying this when he is in Gopi Bhav.
Which was no?
Antyalila 20.52. It's very, very beautiful. And actually this is the goal of a pure devotee. This is where we are trying to be. So yeah, if we all can read together actually. I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for happiness of Krishna, for his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. So this is actually Gopi Bhav. This is where the gopis of Vrindavan, this is where Radharani, this is where all the pure devotees of the Lord are. They do not care about their happiness actually. They only want Krishna to be happy. And by making Krishna happy, we will automatically be happy. Because if we are trying to serve him, if we are trying to make him happy, Krishna will take care of us. Why not? And even if it is said that even if Krishna feels like giving me distress, that distress is best of my happiness. So that is like next another level. I remember a pastime where Krishna was having a headache when he was in Dwarka, right? And Narad Muni happened to visit his palace, and Narad Muni asked, like, what can we do to make you feel better? And then the remedy was given that if a devotee of the Lord gives the dust of their lotus feet, their feet, and Krishna applies that dust on his forehead, Krishna will be relieved. But there was a condition. The person whose dust will be applied on his forehead will suffer in hell, will have to go in hell. So Narad Muni went to different people. I don't remember the names, but he went to a lot of devotees, and they were like, yes, but I have to go in hell. I don't want to go to hell. But then, at the end, he went to the gopis. And what gopis did? They went to Yamuna. They dipped their feet in Yamuna. They walked on sand, and they removed that dust and filled pots and pots for Krishna. That take this and apply to Krishna's forehead. He actually he tried to convince them that, but you will go to hell. They were like, we don't care. We don't care if we go to hell or anywhere. If Krishna is getting relieved by doing this, then we will do whatever is needed. We are ready to go to hell. So that is what we are trying to achieve. That is where we are endeavoring to be. So with that, I would like to conclude. And if you have any questions, any doubts, anything, you can ask. Yes, Ru.
So, Prabhu, in the Prabhupada it is mentioned that when one begins acting according to his plan, his life of distress immediately begins.
Yes.
So, if he act according to the plan, how will it get to distress?
So here Prabhupada is talking about material happiness. If you make a plan that, okay, let's take an example. Someone makes a plan, okay, I will buy this car and I will get happy. So he's making a plan, right? Now what happens? He buys that car, and what happens after buying that car? There's a huge amount that he has to pay. Now for paying that amount, he will work day and night. He is going to work day and night, and by working day and night, not only that, he is going to work overtime, and by doing that, he is getting distress. So by that, you'll know that every material activities, it's all interrelated. If you make a plan, like people will make a plan to buy a house, right? And when they make a plan to buy a house, they have to work very, very hard to get that money. And to get that money, they have to work hard, and that will cause them distress. So that's how you know that.
So what should we do then?
We have to give everything to Krishna. We have to see everything in relation to Krishna. That, okay, this house is not for my enjoyment, but it's for Krishna's devotees, right? I will invite Krishna's devotees, feed them prasadam. I will read Bhagavatam here. I will make my family Krishna conscious. I will try and serve Krishna. This is Krishna's house. So if you see everything in relation to Krishna, then you'll be happy. Then Krishna will provide. Yes.
You can see this in another way. So if you see the statement, one is happy as long as one does not endeavor for happiness. until like you get one particular age where you need to work or you need to do something on your own. Like entire childhood, if you remember, everything is happy. We don't even know what is distress or anything. Like we are enjoying our life in such way. But once we started looking for happiness by earning something, like doing job or anything, you will really face the distress. Okay, taking responsibilities more. You can see in that way.
Yeah, because in childhood you're dependent on someone, you're dependent on your parents, and they are providing. But when you grow up, you want to be independent. And but actually, when you grow up and you surrender to Krishna and you're dependent on Krishna, then you'll be happy again. So we have to be dependent on Krishna for everything, then we'll be happy. Yes.
So I want to share two things. First thing is, I think Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport, or he said in a lecture, or I've heard devotees say this, that like a camel, it eats thorns, and it tastes its own, it's very painful. I mean, it doesn't, like it tastes its own blood. And happiness, seeking material happiness can be thought of like that. Like we eat something, we think like the camel thinks it's eating something tasty, but it's really just drinking its own blood. Right? So material happiness, it reminded me of that, the discussion you were making about, you were giving the examples, right, of someone being beaten and then that belief. So it reminded me of this. And the second thing I wanted to share is, so much of my life I've been spending trying to do this, trying to avoid distress, or doing whatever I can to avoid bad situations. And I like what Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport, that whatever we have, it's fixed. You can't change it. And I spent so many years trying to change all of this because I just was unsatisfied, or I just felt like it wasn't enough or whatever. And but I got my answer. So thank you for sharing this program. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, we're good with time. We can take one or two more questions if anyone has any. You mentioned very beautiful point, Prabhu, that many of the times we try and change our material condition. We try and endeavor for more, that maybe being here or being in this position or maybe getting this, getting that, I'll be happy. But that is all fixed. Instead, we should use that efforts, that endeavors in spiritual life to advance in our spiritual life, to serve better, to help others connect to Krishna. That will bring happiness. That will bring actually real happiness. You know what? Actually, we have experienced that happiness when we go out on Sankirtan, when we distribute books, when someone is convinced to take a book or someone is convinced to chant a few rounds. The happiness that we feel by seeing that person or by seeing that this person is actually going to do this is a real happiness. And we are getting the taste of it. And we can clearly distinguish the material happiness and the happiness that we are getting from these spiritual activities. It's completely different. You can make the difference. Yes, Prabhu.
So the example that you gave, that if we are buying a house or we are having a family, so we should think this is Krishna's house, this is Krishna's family. But how we distinguish that we are not hiding behind Krishna and secretly want our happiness, to see, I want a house. So I will be like, no, it's for Krishna. I don't want it for Krishna. I want a car. I want a Lamborghini. Not for me. So I can go to temple fast. How do we distinguish between
that you will know yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Yes.
You would know that, like, if you're chanting, you're reading, and your hearing is getting affected while doing that thing. So let's suppose I asked the same question yesterday to Tanai Thakur. I asked him, like, I'm doing something that can be tagged as material. Is it over endeavoring? So he said, like, if your morning program is strong, you're chanting your rounds, you're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class or some Krishna Katha every day, and you have time to read, that means you're not over endeavoring. And then if your thought is to use that material thing for Krishna's pleasure, then that's okay. Mahatma Prabhu, I read this quote by Mahatma Prabhu. He says, Krishna, please take my material desires away, but if my material desires still left, please let me use them in your service. So I think that's the way you can distinguish. Like if your sadhana is there.
Yes, anything that is helping you come closer to Krishna, that is not over endeavoring. But if it's taking you away from Krishna, if you are not able to chant your rounds, if you're not able to listen about Krishna, if you're not able to, read about Krishna, then it's definitely taking you away from Krishna. And that is over endeavoring.
One more thing, so some people might ask oh, I just had a baby, or I just had, let's suppose someone died in their family who the whole family was dependent on for financial help. And you were working 8 hours before, but now you have to work 10 hours to support your family. Is that over endeavoring? Now you're not able to read or listen. Is that over endeavoring? That's not over endeavoring. Because that's your duty now. Yeah. So, your intelligence has to be used in a way to make decisions. That's why Prabhupada wanted us to be independent, thoughtful individuals. Not going by just rules, but also time, place, circumstance.
Yes, very, very important. We should not always follow the rules fanatically, but see the situation, time, circumstance, and then use our intelligence and act accordingly. That is very, very important.
And how will you get that intelligence? Is when you discuss that with your guru, sadhu, and shastra.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so with that we'll like to end. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki